they tell you what color alien you're about to be? You're gonna be a blue alien. Okay. Say something to your aunt. In the camera, Layla. What do you have to say about the shop?
She's going to do great. And she's already doing great.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do great.
That's good. You're being a great camera girl.
She's going to do great. And she's already doing great.
My name is Tyiesha Radford Shorts. I'm a writer. Every now and again, I'm a singer for a different day. I love twerking. I love bird watching. And I love Black people. So I don't remember when I was first introduced to Ajanaé's work, but my earliest, most memorable kind of witnessing of Ajanaé's work was for Roots Open Expression Identity for MAG, and she did a piece with no verbs, and it was I thought one of the most profound works of poetry that I had heard in real time at the time. And I'm just like, who is this woman? Where did she come from? And we've been connected ever since.
Such a crazy transformation. This is crazy. This is amazing.
When Ajanaé first approached me with this project, I thought she had called the wrong number. Because I hadn't been in an exhibit like this at all. This is my first time being in a full-scale exhibit like this. She told me which piece she wanted and how it fit. And then my next thought was all right, cool, let's make it happen. It wasn't really once I knew she really meant me, then it was just a matter of yeah, let's get to work. Let's get to work, for sure.
My name is Iyana Hill. I am an artist. I mostly do the mediums of ceramics and photography, but I really think about installation. I'm a curator. I am a scholar, educator, thinking about cultural production. I love my family, I love food, I love Black people, the culture. I love. I was introduced to Ajanaé in February. She started in February, right? She was picked as a new artist in residence. I was leaving Urban Art Space, but it was okay, you gotta meet Ajanaé. Met Ajanaé, we had a great, real conversation, and from there, we've been here ever since. So, be creative.
Everybody's so creative.
Pictures now. She's gonna need more pictures. We don't have enough.
We do not have enough pictures.
Are these supposed to be propped up?
It looks wonderful.
She's a genius and she's so sweet. But when I heard the project, it was heavy because of the topic, of course. But I was just wow, what you want to do is amazing. I've definitely had questions, more so about the story, the concept, etc. But initially it was just a conversation, and then it was okay, how do we take your ideas and your words as a poet, and then how do we visualize it? And that's we went from there. My job to the project, because originally I wasn't even supposed to have an exhibition in the hallway. It was really, truly just taking Ajanaé's ideas and helping to visualize that in a gallery space. So how do you take spoken art? I don't know if I should call it that, but literature, and then her poems, and then how do we take the ideas that's in her head and really try to visualize it. So me and Ajanaé have been working together on this show since February. We have had late night parable meetings, daytime urban art space meetings, phone calls, etc., to really see where it was going. And it was just like, I just worked with Ajanaé to really push her vision and push where she could even think about where it could go in an actual space. I was install team with her. We was in here fighting for our lives with Matt. Shout out to Matt. Very important part of this entire
home improvement specialist. I'm going to show you right now.
Are y'all supposed to be building the set? Yeah, that's what you doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm building the set. Please do not interrupt me while I'm working.
Oh my God, please stop.
I'm going to show you kind of how to just screw some screws into the wall. We're going to be using pliers today. These ones are silver. You can kind of see what I'm looking at here. These ones are silver right here. You can find these at any of your Home Depot or Lowe's, or you can steal them from your cousin. If your cousin has some, just steal those. So what I'm going to do, I see these right here in the wall, and what I want these to do, I want these to be further into the wall. A lot of people, they would just break the wall down and they would just tear the wall down. I'm not going to do that. What I want to do is I want to do something simpler. It's a lot easier. It's going to take a lot less of your day. Come get a close up. Come get a close up. So I want you to see this. A lot of people, they kind of come around here and they think being a home improvement specialist is easy. They think it's easy. It's not easy, okay? What I do, 30 years of college.
30 years, oh my God.
30 years of college I took to be able to kind of do this right here. And to me, it's natural, right? It's natural for me now. It would be a lot of work for a lot of you at home. Please don't try this at your own home.
Let's see. Perfect. All right.
There we go.
5 o'clock.
And is that real? Like, is that
The real time?
accurate time?
Well, so what I'm looking at here, it's 11:58.
It is.
11:58 right here. But here's the
No,
thing.
it's not. It's an hour behind. What happened?
Oh, it is
Daylight saving.
Let me tell you something about daylight saving. Sometimes people take daylight and they say, I want to save it for later on, and they just kind of hold on to it. We don't typically do that here, but honestly, I don't mind, right? I don't mind if people kind of have their own ideas about that.
Matthew Pitts. Well, I married the curator back in 2019, which was just my long game to try to be part of this exhibition, and I succeeded. So I do like video and short film, as well as like photography, and a component of the exhibit was the video component. And so as she was formulating the ideas, a part of it was her saying like, hey, you're gonna do the film, and me being like, show me where I need to be. Most of the ideas that like feel like, you know, brand new ideas, I think to the outside are things that we're always talking about, things that we're always working on. For for everything that's happening here, like it's really interesting because it all started out as like smaller things that Ajanaé is like just building up in the idea space. And it's really cool because they're also very genuine aspects of her like curiosity. And so like everything that's happening here are things that she would just be curious about if she was not putting it up in an exhibit. Things that she was researching about her family dynamics, things that she's interested in keeping, I think, continuity and connection with like her mother to grandmother to great-grandmother to aunts and things like that travel back in time. So there's things that every aspect of the exhibit are things that like is just essentially Ajanaé's mind, but then just putting up on exhibit walls.
I had a conversation with Ajanaé recently about Sonia Massey and what it means to call on God or to make a rebuke before transitioning out of this world. And right now, what does Where Black Girls Go means to me a way of calling and conjuring things into being that we might not even necessarily know we're doing, right? There's this real, I don't want to call it tactile, that's not even, it's even less sensory than that, but there's a way that the bodies know, there's a way that the memory knows, and we tap into that, and we're not always even sure what that means. So I'm still wrestling with that. Where we go, what happens when we get there. But I'm certainly grateful to this exhibit for even giving me space and putting me in the mind to have that thought and have those conversations.
I think what that means to me is a lot of things. I think that allows us to use our imagination and rewrite a narrative, but it also allows us to really sit and think about the realities that a lot of Black girls have of going missing or even losing themselves while they're still here.
This is Terron Banner. Here, where we're at Urban Art Space, I'm the manager of community learning and experience. Teach at OSU, teach in the Department of Arts Administration, Education, and Policy. I kind of feel that's more where I'm at, maybe not what I do. Okay. Per se. What I do, in a really authentic sense, is community programming. Advocate for Black folks specifically. Arts-based research, and I can explain a little bit more, but really just whatever it takes to integrate art, learning, cultural production into the community, and utilize the resources I have at my disposal for the people.
That's okay, just keep going. And just make sure you got all the important stuff in the frame. Thank you so much.
Tanetta? That box of lights, is it in there?
What box of lights?
That box of lights that we're about to return, is it in there?
So I had seen Ajanaé's resume, her portfolio, some of her pieces, while we were trying to select a community artist in residence here at Urban Art Space. So, seeing her work before I actually met her. And then, luckily we chose Ajanaé, so that was pretty fortuitous. But since then, the relationship, I've gotten to know her more personally, her artwork and her as a person, but just off the back, it was very much a formal process where we were doing interviews, we were doing selection, and like I said, her content really called to me, and the committee. So it wasn't just me; it was a committee. So it really stood out to us. But that was the first exposure I got to Ajanaé. This project, I do a lot of research, and my area of research or expertise is Black art in America specifically. Afro-futurism is really a theory I lean heavily into. And then I started, before this project I heard about from Ajanaé, I started leaning into that more and thinking about how that Afrofuturism has been around, maybe not by name, but by thought process, by purpose and kind of vision, well into Reconstruction. I'm talking Frederick Douglass was doing Afrofuturism, Afro Cobra was doing it. Du Bois was doing it. So it's been around for a long time, and it finally got a name in '93, but that's been going on well before that. I started to break that down into different components, and I started thinking about this theory called critical Afro-nostalgia framework, and it combines Afrofuturism, which is kind of a more optimistic sense of possibility, looking into the future while incorporating the past. It incorporates Afro-pessimism, which is kind of like reality. We're always on defense. We always got to block for each other. They're trying to stretch us, in the words of Nipsey, all of that. It combines Afro-nostalgia, whereas kind of we have to create our own memories because we haven't been given them. And nostalgia is generally a way to have a safe space mentally. And most of our imagery, you know, historically, or even art historically, has been trauma. So Afro-nostalgia is about creating those memories that we can have. And then Black archival practice, right? So how do we archive? What is archive, number one? And how do we do that as Black folks with our cultures, our values, the way we think, the way we talk, the way we envision things. So I started theorizing around that. And when I heard about this project, started seeing it, started reading about it, I was like, yo, this theory that I've been like working on, this is exactly what she's doing. So that was kind of mind blowing to see what I'm writing about and envisioning, seeing it actually in person. And I'm learning, like from seeing this and seeing her process, I'm like, yo, she's actually doing all these things.
Yeah.
I just support it, you know, whatever that can look like. Like I said, if it's helping to install, if it's making sure the project can carry forward, finding resources, you know, ensuring that the university and urban art space remains equitable, you know, in how we treat our artists, specifically Ajanaé and Black artists. Whether it's tapping into other Black academics, Black scholars, Black artists, Black researchers for collaboration, or for areas of expertise, kind of ensuring that the exhibition has the reach and frequency it deserves, you know, so if I can provide connections and the platform that I have to that, that's been a part of it. Been able to bounce ideas back and forth, you know, just being like an arts administrator, which is making the art happen and supporting the artists.
Alright, so there's hair. And then Aja has a brush. Crazy, that was wow. That was low-key just there.
That's why any chance I get, I say something disrespectful.
That's fair. I respect that.
Alright, so
This right here was like exactly one of my visions.
Was it? It's worth this shot.
My name is Ajanaé Dawkins. I am a multidisciplinary poet, curator, and performance artist, and I love Black women. So this video started just as a poem that was a part of a project I was working on, and every time I thought about this poem, or I was reading or reciting it, I would see it visually. I would see an image of Black women on Mars. I would see an image of Black women in braiding salons. And I think a lot about what are vehicles to bring work to audiences that aren't just something written on the page or something that can be experienced in a single moment. And I decided that I wanted these Mars poems to have a kind of tactile visual engagement through film. So my niece Layla is in the project, and I love doing work that is intergenerational, multi-generational. That's really important to me, and I know that Layla really wants to be an artist. So I invited her to be a part of the project, and I know she also knows how to do hair. So functionally, I knew she could do the physical piece of braiding my hair. I invited my sister Paige, who's also Layla's mom, to be a part of it because she also does hair, is also an artist and creative, and I knew she would enjoy being a part of it. And then I invited my sister Tyiesha, who I've worked with for a long time, who also has work in other parts of the exhibition. Because I'm just a huge fan of Tyiesha and Tyiesha's work, and I knew she would fill the role in a really beautiful way. And then Iyana came on to support with visuals on set design and general creative direction. I worked with Iyana on the rest of the exhibition, and she just taught me so much about how to imagine a space visually and immersively, and I knew that I wanted her to contribute to what building this physical space out would look like, and she did. She formatted my photos, she decorated the furniture there, and then obviously having my husband a part of it as a filmmaker and videographer and set designer as well was really integral to it. And unbiased, obviously, but I've been a huge fan of his film work, and he's one of my biggest collaborators. And I'm saying he, like he's not the one interviewing me right now, but you know, that's neither here nor there.
What is your favorite part of the exhibit?
My favorite part of the exhibit. So much. It's like I want to say Mars. Only because like the production of that was amazing. Being on that set the entire day was great. It was beautiful, and then to see the end result.
Listen, still unlearning these ideas. There's hierarchy to prayer, or the puzzle between my legs and sympathy of my discourse is
Listen, I'm so sorry.
I have 57 thoughts in my head right now.
Listen, Layla said y'all getting a poodle.
I thought I was getting
It's alright. I think we're getting a girl though. We have a boy. Love you too. You so tired.
Love you, Dad. I'm so tired. I'm running on like 4 hours sleep from the last 2 days.
All the friends are like, he dropped us off.
I know. Dang, I can't be.
This is about to be me. You a snitch. I wasn't telling people yet.
Y'all know I'm a hype people up. Don't tell me no news and you want me to hype people up.
You know, that was a secret.
I'm a hype people up. Don't tell me those things.
I think Ajanaé Dawkins specifically have really helped define and describe what Afro-futurism is for the city, for the culture, for academia, like really for all those things. Afro-futurism has been like a hot topic now. You know, it's Black Panther, it's all these things. It's a real talking point, but nobody ever really describes it or gets the definition of it. Mm-hmm. It's almost been like co-opted and commercialized, and I feel like Eros and Ajanaé has kind of like brought it back to the true essence. I was telling Eros and Ajanaé, like if I had to think of two artists, one to show visually what Afrofuturism is to somebody who doesn't know, and then one to convey it through words and language and conceptually to people who may not know what it is, it would be them two. I can bring somebody off the street, not tell them anything, say this is Afrofuturism, they would see it, hear it, experience it, and like have a true sense of it.
What was the biggest hurdle for you in completing the project?
Money. Money, time, and personal conflict that came up in my own life. So money, because I have a new appreciation for filmmakers. It is expensive. I had a lot of support and a lot of people donating labor that was severely underneath their rate in order to help me get this project done. I had space donated by Urban Art Space. I had funds contributed for this project from the Greater Columbus Arts Council and some individual donors. Yeah, I just had a lot of resources, and even with that, we were constantly bumping into just like tangible financial money things. Time was an issue because when you don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to pay people, everything has to essentially be gotten in one go. And I just had a lot of personal things and conflicts coming up. So my grandfather passed away the day before we started shooting. So we pretty much went into shooting that next morning, and then the day after that, I drove home to be with my family, back to Michigan. So lots of different conflicts, and I'm grateful that it turned out as well as it did.
All right.
Does it look cool?
Huh?
Does it look cool?
Looks good.
I think the process of the video taught me to feel less beholden to a specific vision and more interested in execution and process. You talk about this a lot, is that I could have waited another year or two to try to execute what would have been a perfect vision in my head with
more resources than what I had, but executing in the community space that I had was really, really beautiful. Executing with what I had now was what I needed for this specific period of my life.
And what you took Dr. Hart stuttering over its blood, missing sense, missing sense, missing sense. Listen. I'm still unlearning these ideas.
With my mother trying to lift the chair. Oh my God.
Your okay? Yeah. This once it go down, it goes down.
Ooh.
Right now.
Which
We ain't making it better. Okay, so we got all these pictures. Family archival pictures.
This is her family?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's Gmall. Oh, she looks like Madison.
You see Ajanaé?
Yeah.
No, you're good. That's good. Well, you know, I respect that.
Let's keep pushing because we're going to have to start turning the set over soon. Black girls were from Mars. My aunt told me once, and I believed her. It made sense. When she said it, I was in the breakdown. Had 3 women isolating my head. They were dislocating the grammar of my hair into 3 parts.
Having my nieces playing hand games and in these moments of just childhood innocence alongside moments of grief feels important in part because of the goal of this work, or even just the goal of imagining Black women on Mars. It is really heavy to always write about people in the grave. Another one is just for the sake of spiritual imagination and for when we're building archives. I don't think adhering to the facts of something is irresponsible. I think that's necessary. For me, I interject imagination through theology, through Afro-futurism, to give an alternate line of possibilities that might help people imagine Black women outside of spaces. Like, it might be easy to imagine a Black woman or even a Black man as a victim of a kind of violence, right? I use the example of Eric Garner all the time. In the poem Ross Gay, it was really, really easy to imagine Eric Garner as a victim of police violence. It was harder to imagine Eric Garner as somebody who was planting and gardening and in horticulture, because that was not a really prevalent story, and that story was not like moving through the archives until Ross Gay's poem went viral. And some other folks chose to highlight that fact. And for me, I want to make sure that there are multiple places that our imaginations go when we're thinking about Black women and where they are and where they're located and what they're doing, even amidst the conversations of grief and being missing, because I don't want to too strongly associate Black women with the idea of death or loss or grief.
I'm not sure that I know what it is, but I feel like my right now purpose is to make sure that Black women writers are in community with each other, right? That we know that there are other Black women writers out there, that we can commiserate with one another, that we can get this money together, that we can do all the things that come with a community of Black women who write. And what platform that's going to take, I'm not entirely sure, but that's definitely what I feel like is my right now purpose.
I think in community, like I think my purpose is not of me at all. I think it's for other people, especially regarding liberating Black people. That's my purpose.
So this poem right now is dealing with the idea of missing Black women, specifically an aunt of mine who went missing. So that's the context of this poem. But prior to any answers about what happened to my aunt, I imagined her in all kinds of places. And so where Black girls go was thinking about all of the different locations, physical and metaphysical, that someone might end up. All of the different locations, physical and metaphysical, that someone might be lost or might be missing. And I landed on Mars as a place where Black girls go, and not by my own volition, in conversation with, in literary conversation with other really brilliant folks who came before me, like Nikki Giovanni or Tracy K. Smith's work, or all of the Black women Afro-futurists who have been doing this kind of imagining Black women in space as a reprieve or a distancing themselves from the violences of America.
Bam. Okay. Tell us your name.
Paige.
Paige, okay, what are you going to be doing today?
I guess I'm an alien.
Guess you're an alien. Okay, and so as an alien, what are you going to be doing?
It's classified. What does that mean?
Gotta respect it. No more questions. I don't even want. What are you going to be doing today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Same. Definitely. Anybody else need to ask them?
Classic. What brings you to this set?
I thought you were going to ask me good questions.
That's fair. All right, well, I think I'm done with this. We got the one and only Iyana right up in here. What?
I'm Iyana, and I'm just here helping.
Go ahead. What you need?
Making this film taught me really a lot about collaboration, hard deadlines, trust, and convergence. I mean, we're all making this installation that focuses on family and trauma and Afrofuturism and what happens when people go missing, and the pieces of people that are those people go missing. My right now purpose is archival. I just feel very beholden to preserving, to story preservation, and to idea preservation. Whether that's through writing or film or photo collection, and to not just doing that myself, but into encouraging other Black folks to participate in archive preservation, especially in a space where so many archives are disappearing. An aunt, a mother, a child, either in the news, our neighborhoods, or our own homes. It's like all of us formed a committee, and our job was to find a place removed and free where we could dream. And we landed on each other. We landed on Mars.
My name is Layla. My favorite food is Cajun shrimp Alfredo.
Were you in the movie?
Yes, I was. Actually, I was a model. I was modeling as an alien, and I was also a great director and producer.
You were a director and producer?
Yeah. And producing was fun. I had fun doing it.
Who was the hardest person in the cast to work with? Who gave you the most problems?
Uncle Matt. Uncle Matt.
Well, I've heard from Uncle Matt, and Uncle Matt said that you actually gave him the most problems. So, I mean, that's just what I heard. So
I love being an alien. I love braiding the hair also. So, one of those.
Okay, who was the funnest person in the cast?
Iyana, my mother, and Auntie Tyiesha.
Wow.
And also Uncle Matt. So everybody.
Everybody?
Everybody.